he's told me he loves working with those guys, and they send him materials, and then he'll just look at the script and kind of send them whatever he thinks is funny, and then they'll just put it in the episode. So, yeah, I really like them a lot. They moved to Dallas recently, so I wish I could say I saw them all the time, but I don't, because I'm more places not in Dallas than I am in Dallas because I travel a lot. Yes.
I was wondering how you felt about playing Coach Sabat.
I didn't. All I heard was playing.
How did you feel about playing him free as Coach Sabat?
Oh, Free, and man, that's such a good show. I think I got like the most heterosexual character too. It was awesome. No, that's such a weird, that's such a fascinating show because it is so, like, it's so fan servicey at the same time. Like, I sometimes feel almost as awkward watching Free as I do when I watch any of the shows that are fan servicey the other direction, which is like, we have a pool episode. We go to water park. Like, all right, that makes no sense. Like, why are we there? It's a space battle. Why are you going to what? Animators having contract must draw boobies or something. So I felt like it was like kind of fair and balanced. That finally girls have kind of a fan servicey show. But man, there's a lot of shot of abs in that show. It was really fun to work on. It was actually it was a little stressful to work on because there aren't too many shows that you work on it's a crazy thing about anime is it's one of these things that people really are anticipating it because it was already successful in Japan. So we knew going into it that it was kind of important. So yeah, I love the part I played. Again, he's one of these guys that's just sort of with the group. He's funny, he's comical. I love working with Jerry Jewell. He's the director of Free. He's a super nice guy and a great singer. Yeah, it was a good experience working on the show. Johnny's here. I think he's in that show, right?
Yeah.
Johnny, he's so dreamy. You guys see Johnny? Tell him I think he's dreamy.
Actually, Ian's here too.
Ian Sinclair, he's dreamy. He's greasy right now because he was just eating with me and Paula Deans. He was probably the most excited of any of us because he loves to eat. That guy, he's a foodie. He's like, gotta get some collard greens in me real bad. Yes.
I was just wondering, with all the screaming that you have to do and all the fight scenes in Dragon Ball Z, how do you take care of your voice and how do you not go through pain?
Most people, to preserve their voice, would absolutely never work on Dragon Ball Z. Like that's the worst possible thing you could do to your voice is to work on that show. Video games are very much like that too. A lot of video games, especially I own a studio in Dallas called Okratron 5000. Very appropriate name for a town here, actually. You guys would like that name. Okra means nothing to me. Like, it really means nothing as far as the business is concerned, but Tron, if you put the word Tron next to anything, it gives it like technological significance. So Okratron sounds really important, like a giant robot that manufactures okra or something, but it's called Okratron 5000, and 5000 get like if you put a number at the end of everything, especially if it's like a futuristic number like 5000, then it's like super important. In our studio, we work with Gearbox and id and a lot of other places, games. We did all of the Borderlands stuff, and so yeah, when you're working on video games and you're working on Dragon Ball, it's a lot of screaming, and the only thing you can do is just kind of know your body's limits and just kind of take a break when you need to. But really, sometimes you just, like, if you want to be on a show like Dragon Ball, you're just gonna mess your voice up and just rest afterwards. Just try not to mess it up too much to where you can't do it again. The worst damage I ever did to my voice, believe it or not, was, you wouldn't expect this, but I was down for like 3 weeks because I screwed up my voice doing Raccoon, of all the people.
In order to do a Raccoon, you have to open your voice box and hold your throat out real bad.
And like flexing this muscle here, like they got really swollen, and then I couldn't voice act for like 3 weeks after I went. It was the first time and only time I've ever had to go to the doctor. And his answer was like, I went to this really expensive ENT, this guy who's worked with Ozzy Osbourne and worked with all these famous people, and his advice was like, yeah, you really shouldn't yell that much. I go, thanks. Here's my stupid money for you to tell me what I already knew. Like, what'd you tell Ozzy Osbourne? You shouldn't sing anymore? I don't sing anymore. Anyway, Dragon Ball shirt, yes.
What was it like working for, not working for, but working with Sean Shamil?
Sean Shamil is or Sean Schemmel, or Sean Shamel, or Sean Schimmel, as everyone calls him a different name, because I don't even know how to pronounce it. He is a really weird dude. It's like, I like him. He and I have a very Vegeta and Goku-like relationship in a way, although he is the one with, oddly enough, he's the one with the anger issues. And I'm the one that's just like, chill out, man. It's cool. Chill out. It's fine. You're going to be fine. And yeah, so Sean is a very, he's just a super intense dude. And he is like Goku in that he's kind of naive about stuff as well. He's super, super smart and very, very talented, but also shockingly gullible. I can convince him of anything. Lately, because we've known each other for so long, and we've been traveling a lot, especially this year promoting the movies, I've had this weird, and I've never done this before in the 15 previous years that we've known each other. I've had this funny thing about, like, what if I was Vegeta and he was Goku? And I send him texts sometimes as Vegeta in situations that apply to what we're doing. Like, I go, Sean, what floor of the hotel are you on? He'll go, I'm on 21. I go, I'm on 19. I cannot believe that you have a higher floor than I do. One day I will ascend to floor 22. And Sean will go, are you all right, Chris? But I do that to him all the time, and it's just really funny to me to imagine if they were just like dudes living in the world. Anyway, yeah, it's been such a good year. The Kirby shirt, yeah.
Was there ever a character that you wanted to play but didn't get a chance to?
There was a character I got to play and then didn't get to play. For a while, about 10 years ago, there was this video game that recorded in Dallas. Sorry, I just burped Paula Dean, you're welcome. There was this video game that was recording in Dallas, and there's no reason, I never knew why they recorded it in Dallas, but they were recording and they'd cast all these voices. And it turns out it was because there was a writer's strike happening in Los Angeles, so they'd come to Dallas and they found their cast there. And so I did several sessions as this big, burly dude with this giant machine gun guy, and it was his name was Marcus Phoenix on Gears of War, and then eventually they took that game and like the writer's strike was over and like, we're sorry guys, we apologize, like the publisher's making us do this back in California again, so we have to cast all people that are in the union and blah blah blah. Fortunately, it went to an amazing actor, so I'm not really that jealous, but that's a role I had at one point. I no longer have, which is really sad. I always said I always wanted to play Solid Snake. And then eventually I did get to play Solid Snake, yeah. They did a death match with Solid Snake against Sam Fisher. I don't know if you all saw that.
He did?
And I had no idea if they had found out that I really wanted to play that or whatever, but they literally came out of the woodwork and just sent me an email and said, Chris, would you be interested in auditioning for this? I'm like, if you don't use me as Solid Snake, I will destroy you. They said, well, put an audition in for Sam Fisher too. I'm like, I will, but I won't play Solid Snake like that. But the thing is, I didn't play him necessarily the way I would record him, but I I tried to do my best impression of David Hayter, because he is super, super talented, but I know that he also probably had to deal with something that I'm very intimately familiar with, and that's like having to record a Japanese game with Japanese people there. And it's a very, very interesting process because they don't always really understand the subtlety of what like voice acting, but they do take the stuff very seriously. Sometimes they just don't always know what's best, but they think they do. Which is what happened to me, actually. I got cast in as Garland in Final Fantasy Dissidia. Did you guys play that? And man, that game, I was so excited because they cast me because apparently the guy who plays Alex Louise Armstrong in Japan played Garland in Final Fantasy. So they said, well, that makes sense, but she's the same dude. So they called me up, and when they called me in to do it, I said, how long are we going to be working on this? And they said, yeah, we might need 2 days, 2 full days of recording. And I got there, and it's like 2 pages. It was like triple spaced, big letters. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll be done with this in 2 hours. Like this is a shame because I'm getting paid really well to do this. But this is how the sessions ended up going. Like, okay, we're gonna do the first line here. We're gonna go ahead and show you what it looks like in Japanese. Kind of show you the animation, the animatics, kind of give you an idea what it is, and then just give us like 2 reads of it, and then we'll just discuss it and then figure out which one we want. So. We watch it, or whatever, and then I don't speak Japanese, obviously, and then I go, I am the beginning and the end. I am the beginning and the end. And they go, okay, thank you very much. Hold on 1 second, please. And then it was just, well, this is the beginning and the end. Oh, so I guess what they got the about that. And then they would have like a 15-minute long conversation about it. And what made it worse is that they were recording it in the studio in Burbank, and I'm pretty sure Walt Disney's body was buried underneath the floor of the studio because it was the coldest place I've ever been in my entire life. And I was like, I'm a California dude, I'm wearing my shorts. And I was freezing cold. And I was standing there, I'm like, oh my God. And then they talk for 15 minutes, they go, yes, we think that line was good. Or will you go on to the next line? And then I go like, I will defeat you, I will defeat you. Okay, hold on a minute. And they talk for like 15 minutes, they go, okay, he is dying in this line. I'm like, okay, sorry, it was just there was no description, so I'll do it again. I will defeat you. And they go, okay, hold on a minute. And then another 15 minutes. And eventually I was like, guys, do you have a Wi-Fi password? I'm gonna get on my laptop. And I'm gonna write emails in between these lines, and the laptop will give me heat. And I'm like, it was kind of torture and also amazing at the same time. Because on the other hand, I had to keep going, Chris, shut up, you're making a lot of money to do this. Like, it was one of the most expensive voice sessions I've ever done for any video game, because it's Final Fantasy, and there are certain times when you get paid more because they know they're going to use it in America, and they're going to put it on the disc in Japan, or they're going to use it all in several different regions all over the world. So I didn't complain. It was one of those situations that I could be doing anything else right now. The fact that I'm whining about how cold it is pretty stupid. So, yes, fake Goku.
Would you like to see Vegeta go?
I would love to see Vegeta go Super Saiyan 3. But that would also be really confusing because now, I'm just trying to figure out if Super is going to make GT non-canon or not. So I'm waiting to find out if yeah, we don't really know yet. I really want to find out. I just hope he goes super duper extra God Saiyan.
Goku, when he went Super Saiyan 3, he gotta have a deeper voice. If they did make Vegeta go Super Saiyan 3,
I'd use a higher voice. I'd probably just give him I'd give him a little. I would give him a little lisp. I'm super strong. That's what I would do. Actually, I have no idea. I probably wouldn't change it at all because, Saint's hair never grows. That's a dumb excuse. Yes, you in the back.
How interesting, for lack of a better word.
Very interesting. Find a better word. You said you had a lack of a better word. Just take your time, find a better word. I'm joking.
Was it voicing Gargamel?
How fun was it? It was ridiculous. Like I mentioned it a little while ago, it was like one of the most ridiculous sessions I've ever been on because you had to say terrible things and do terrible things. And there was a lot. There was actually Colleen Klingenbeard, who was the voice of Luffy. I'm not strong enough to open this water bottle. Well, thank you. You're so nice. That's the voice I'm going to use for Super Saiyan. I'm the principal singing song. I'm a Super Saiyan 3 now. I'm so powerful. I said go back to the way I was before. Yes, in the hat. Yeah. Sorry, you're both wearing hats.
Is there actually a role that you played that you didn't actually like playing?
All of them. I mean, all of them were good. There was one character I played in Dragon Ball Z. I took over for this other guy on a character, Ox King. And in Dragon Ball Z, he was just like this big oafishy dude, like Chi-Chi or whatever. And it was easy, it was fine to play, but then when we went back into Dragon Ball, I realized that he had to fight, he had to be kind of tough, it was like a big character. So that's when I realized like I can't do this character, like it's not physically possible for me. I don't think I was doing a good job. So I asked Kyle Hebert if he would take over that role for me. So he definitely did that. Let's see. There's so many roles that there's really painful ones. Like one of the most amazing roles I've had, and yet one of the most painful roles I've had to play was let's see. It was called. Oh yeah, it's a brand new show. It's called Ninja Slayer. Have you guys seen Ninja Slayer yet?
Yes.
It's fun. It's streaming on Funimation's website. It's just the craziest, weirdest show I've ever seen. Like it looks like something straight out of like 1990s Adult Swim or something like that. It looks like there's moments where they fight one another, and the ninja always introduces himself. He's like, "Domo, I am Ninja Slayer," and they go, "Domo, Ninja Slayer, I'm Dark Shadow," or whatever. And they always have this weird introductory thing, and he said, "Prepare your death haiku because I will destroy you now." Because death is the only way out for ninjas. And I'm not kidding, it's like this every episode. And then what happens is usually it's either one punch and then the enemy's head explodes, like with real blood or something, and it cuts away like with a real explosion and real blood. And then, or they have a smaller fight and the characters will lift up off the ground like paper dolls or something and then just attack each other with their feet. Like, you really need to see it. It's a bizarre show. And it's, yeah, I think you'll like it. Yes.
Could you tell me more about your role as Gero?
I can tell you more, yes. He's a frog, and he kind of sounds like my voice, sort of. And I played him he reminded me of all of the other the bad guy characters that I play, you know what I mean? All kind of wrapped into one thing. He's like a little red frog, and he has a bazooka, and he's a cat that he loves so much called Mrs. Furbottom, yes. Which I think we called him Mr. Furbottom, and then we found out in a later episode that it was a woman, a female cat. So we had to change it to Mrs. Furbottom, which not everyone liked, but that's just the way we roll. I can't tell you much more about it. I loved working on it mostly because Joel McDonald was one of the directors, and I love all of the cast members in it. I think Chuck Huber is brilliant in it. Brina is brilliant in it. Like you guys know Brina Palencia? Yeah, she's awesome, amazing, beautiful. She's at home taking a selfie with her cat right now. If you guys follow her on Instagram, that's all she does is take photos of herself with her cat. Yes, you guys can fight over which one gets to answer it, like arm wrestle or something. Okay. Thought more. Are you guys friends? You guys know each other? Okay.
Yeah.
He's pointing at you. Yeah.
Okay. What was it like knowing that all this time you've been saying it's over 9,000, and then you get one word one day, it's actually been 8,000?
It's I knew about the translation problem before the meme got really out of control, to say the least. And the hardest part, though, for all these years has been explaining it to the Japanese though, because in all the subsequent video games that we worked on, I want to leave the over 9,000 thing in there, but then we'll get a bug report back from the Japanese and go, actually we noticed video you say over 9,000 in the translation in the over 8,000, and we go, oh yeah, we're just gonna have to trust me. It is supposed to be over 9,000, and we're gonna have to keep. Yes, but the translation say it's over 8,000, and you say over 9. Like, really, you're just gonna have to trust me on this one. We kind of need to leave that in there. And then Then eventually, I had to like send the video and explain to them what a meme was, and go, yeah, it's like it can't be done. And they said, okay, you can keep over 9,000 for whatever reason. You guys are stupid Americans. Why are you so happy about that?
You don't know how to count.
We don't have more time to talk about this. We have to finish the swimming pool episode of Dragon Ball. Actually, which I guess they had. That was their fan service character was Marin. If you guys remember, that was Krillin's girlfriend for like 5 minutes. Yes, I'll get to you in 1 second. I'm gonna go to this guy here.
Is there any chance of getting the Blue Saga pie done?
There's a chance, yes. There's always a chance. I'm hoping that's going to happen one of these days. But I can neither confirm nor deny that the Boo Saga does or does not exist, even in a Kai-like format. So, okay. It means nothing. Yes, you.
When are we gonna get another season of Shin-Chan?
That is a good question. I can neither confirm nor deny. Actually, I can confirm that I don't know crap about that. I really don't. I'm just a director and a voice actor, and I don't really know anything until they hand me the show. And even when I think I know things, I just pretend that I don't because it's subject to change at any given moment. So, yes. How much do I relate with Elfman? Fairy Tale. Well, I say more than one thing all the time, and he just says, "Be a man!" all the time. Sometimes when I go in to record with Tyler on that, I'll walk in the booth and I go, "All right, hold on, Tyler. Is the mic open? Okay. Yeah, man. Be a man. I'm manly. Let's be man. I'm so manly. Don't be manly. Manly attack." And I go, "Did you get everything you need?" Like, I go, "No, we have to record all the lines." I'm like, "Just use it for the last episode." He is so one-dimensional, and then he'll have an amazing episode where it's just like him doing something awesome, and then I have to figure out how I'm actually gonna voice act this character when he's done nothing but just be I don't know, you're that friend that does nothing but tell stupid jokes, and then something serious comes up, and then he doesn't know what to do. So Luffy in the back.
How was it playing Zoro? What did you think of his character when they first gave you the idea?
Oh man, I was actually in love with that character long before I got to play Zoro, because back, as you guys know, that there was a 4Kids version of this, which was not very well received, let's just say. But before 4Kids got that show, Funimation was entertaining the idea of working on that show, and I was working at Funimation at the time, and I remember we got the materials in for it, and I was asked to review it and see what I thought of it. So I watched a handful of episodes and just loved it. I was like, this show's amazing. But I did have to agree with Funimation's opinion to not take the show. They opted not to buy it at that time because they were having a hard time. It was difficult because they wanted to put it on television, and at that time they were editing so much of TV. It was like, it's going to be really hard to put a show on TV about a kid who's made of rubber that you could try and shoot bullets at, and they bounce right off. Like, that's the worst thing a child could possibly watch. Like, oh, guns don't hurt people. Because they don't really care. Back in those days, they didn't care much about necessarily violence. They just didn't want repeatable violence. They didn't want something that a child could watch and go, oh, I could do that too, and then kill somebody. So in that regard, I agreed with their decision not to take that show. They eventually got it later because the temperature had changed, and you know we can have pretty much any content we want on TV now. But I remember watching this. I not only watched about, I guess, 20 episodes. I read a lot of the manga too, preparing, assuming we were going to get the show. But Zoro was easily my favorite character. He just comes in so strong at the beginning, and so lucky to play him now because that character is just so good always. And the show's getting darker and darker and more serious. And then it gets really lighthearted because right now I don't know how much of this I'm allowed to talk about, but I can tell you, I don't care. We're now in the dubbing the part where it's this giant time skip and Luffy's doing a bunch of stuff by himself, and Zoro is stuck in a castle with this girl named Corona or something like that. I hope that's not a spoiler, actually, if you guys are. Yeah, whatever. Yes. I remember Salty Ray. I loved Salty Ray. I always forget about Salty Ray. We recorded Salty Ray in my studio. It was one of the first outside dubs that we did for Funimation. And I love that character. That's the first time I ever came out with a technique that I still use to this day. A technique that I would not recommend to any of you because it is repeatable violence. It's a show about a guy who gets really emotional about his daughter and stuff like that. And I hadn't had kids yet, so I hadn't grown that organ in my body that makes you really sad about everything. Because now I have children and I cry like way more often than I used to. And it's crazy. Like I have no idea what it is about childbirth that I didn't actually birth the child, but having a child that makes you so much more sympathetic to everything now because there's so much more weight in your life. Anyway, I came up with this method of like, I was trying to find a way to distract myself in the booth to go like, how can I do this scene and not think about the fact that I'm trying to cry or do something super emotional. So I came up with this idea of like sticking my finger like in my eye and pushing on it while I was recording, and it actually seemed to work because I'm thinking, ow, this really hurts. And instead of ow, there's like 5 people outside watching me like cry in a small booth by myself. So it was a technique, and I still use it occasionally to this day, although I don't have to use it as much because now I cried Inside Out, like it's just like I cry in all Pixar movies now. I mean, I'm just kidding, I'm just joking. I watch sports. Nothing but sports. Like I work out real hard. I don't cry ever. Actually, I'm like overtime, aren't I? I'm overtime. Guess what, guys? This is just like day 1. I'm here for 2 more days. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here.